welcome to the stage my dear friend, Kim Allen, who is an amazing habit transformation coach. And I think you're going to be talking about some stuff that we need to hear.
Yes, switching from job to entrepreneur, or in between, doing both job and entrepreneur. And I was there, and let's see if I can do this screen share or not. Okay, no, I didn't do it right. Let's see, hold on. Oop. Do you see the slides? Okay,
It's
cool.
perfect.
Yes. Good. Okay, all right. So I'm Kim Allen, and I'm a habit transformation coach. And what even is that? And it's those habits of thinking that, might tell you I can't. Entering this entrepreneur world can be scary and overwhelming. Those things that say I can't, or I'm comparing myself to someone else. And I'm going to go over a couple of those things as I go along. But there's a lot of habits of thinking that we learn throughout life that might limit us in how we step into our business. So just a little bit about me. This is me and my man and one of my puppies. I have 4 now. And so I'm a massive dog mom. I believe in animal cruelty-free things, and that's just part of who I am. But so I was in corporate America for 20 years, 26 years to be exact. And I was a director of merchandise operations for about 15 of those years. And so I came from a really structured environment. And I had come to a place in my life where I was hitting burnout in my job. I was face planting in my marriage. So I was headed for my second divorce. And I knew I needed to make a shift in my life. And so I started doing some really deep personal development on myself. And what is it that has me in this negative space? Why am I not happy? Why am I not loving my job? And the thing is I loved my job. I loved the mentoring of people, being able to be mentored. I loved being in the mix of things. But I was burnt out. I didn't feel appreciated. So I did what I do not recommend to anyone, to anybody, to any of my clients. And that is I hit burnout and I flipped a switch. I quit my job. I sold my house and I moved to a new state. Literally, it was 3 weeks. I was in California, and houses there sell really fast. And I made all of that change in my life without a plan. I just thought, oh, I have a great idea. And I was doing some jewelry things before I decided to go full time into coaching. And I thought, well, because I came from the jewelry industry, I spent 26 years there. I negotiated deals. I was a jewelry buyer. I knew what assortments were. I knew what inventory levels were. I knew all that stuff, so I could just go off and I'll make this happen. Well, that's not how it happened. That was not the results of what happened. In fact, it was an epic failure that I have picked myself up from and moved on. So what I want to talk about today is that transition from job to entrepreneur. Now, some of you, it's possible that you're working a job and you're doing something on the side. It could be that you're a full entrepreneur, or maybe you're considering becoming an entrepreneur and maybe you're afraid to make that shift or not sure. So we're going to talk about some of those things that I encountered in my experience and what I share with my clients. So just a little story about being in the job and what I did. So I, like I said, was a director of merchandise of operations. And what that meant was I ran the whole merchandising department. So I had 8 different departments that I oversaw And there was obviously people in those departments who did those jobs. So shipping and receiving, e-commerce, quality, special orders. And then outside of my department were the company departments, right? So we had finance, marketing, credit, store operations, all of those things. And let's say we were going to do a marketing initiative. And the one that was really popular was buy an engagement ring and get 10% of that retail value towards your diamond. So you can get it off of your diamond. So in order to make that happen, I was in merchandising. We would have a team. So you had marketing, you had the store operations who was there to make sure that they could execute what was being asked. You had finance there so that they knew maybe there was a finance program that we were going to run with it. So they were making sure that all the things were in POS and that everybody understood how it was going to be done. You had the credit department because they needed to know what the program was. So you get where I'm going, right? You have all of these different people, marketing, finance, and we've heard this today from several people that we wear all the hats as an entrepreneur. And the biggest or the most difficult change for me was going from, I have a team, I have an idea. Hey team, let's all come together, let's brainstorm and let's see where this all falls out, what will work, what won't. Well, now as an entrepreneur, I don't have that team. I have myself. I'm the one who has to run this idea through the process of poking holes into it. And as entrepreneurs, I think we get really close to our idea. And then even though we know better, so for me, I've told Haley this a few times, I knew better. I know how to run a business. I had daily tasks. So analyzing your numbers, right? Every day, the sales reports came into my email and I could look at them. And then I would go in my reports and I would run an update on them. So I knew exactly what product sold. I knew how much it was discounted. I know who sold it, what store, do I need to move inventory? I knew everything. But as an entrepreneur, amnesia set in. And because it became overwhelming, I didn't have a plan in place. And I'm trying to do the job of everyone. We had Katerina talk about that. All of these things that I wasn't prepared to do. So if I could save you any time and heartache and your finances, here are some of the things to consider as you make that transition. And even if you are in this transition or you're full-time entrepreneur, I hope there'll be some things in here that you'll find you can apply to your business. So number one is like getting clarity on that big idea. There's a lot of great ideas, but what is it going to take to fully make that idea come to fruition? And how long is that going to take? What are the things that may work and won't work? And I'm going to talk about poking holes in the idea in the next slide. I'm kind of giving you an overview. So recognize that you wear all the hats. You don't have anyone. And the main thing is you don't have any income coming in. There is no income coming in until you start to make sales. And as you heard previously, sales is one of those things that is the ugh factor for a lot of us. And I know for me, it was like, how many people do I have to call? And I wrote down on here, I even have a sheet that has, it's the no checklist so that I could check off the amount of no's. I don't have enough no's on my checklist, and I don't have enough yeses. And so sales, it was like a real click in my mind that we buy everything. Everything is sold to us. Materialistic things are sold to us, our refrigerator, our clothes, but also we are influencers on selling people on everything else, on who we are. We're a salesperson when we are getting our kids to brush their teeth, right? And to get their clothes on. Sales is inspiring and influencing people, like we heard. But that seems to be an area of contention as we switch from a job to entrepreneur. So then what is your plan? What is the plan? Did you sit down and do a business plan? Because I don't know about all you, but I sure didn't. I didn't when I started. I didn't even, do I know what that is? Yep. Did I do it? No, because I got so attached to my idea that this was just going to work, right? So then I didn't have a foundation. And the foundation of your business is so important. So if I go back to where I used to work, there was a foundation. There was a certain set of guidelines in how we do business that I had to adhere to. However, I could make process and procedure changes. I could do things, but it had to be within that foundation. Now, obviously, some things shift, but that takes meaningful conversation, additional planning, vetting out the idea. What does this look like? What are the pitfalls, et cetera, et cetera. So having a foundation, your non-negotiables of your business is so important to being able to continually move forward in your business. So part of that is your daily consistent action. And what is that with all of these things? And I like to use social media just as one example. And that is, you have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I can't even think of all the other ones. You have all of these different social media platforms. Where are you going to play? Where is your client at? Find that out and then consistently post in that one or two places. Don't try to do it in all of them because we won't do them all well, right? It's impossible. You can repurpose your content and all of that good stuff, but still, you can't do everything everywhere all the time. So pick one or two and do it well and stick to it. I was having a conversation in one of the breakout groups earlier, and we were talking about not getting crickets. Well, you know what? The algorithms are constantly changing, but people are still watching you. That whole know, like, and trust factor, they are there and they want to see your face. They want to hear you talk. And so I know I get caught up in just wanting to post, but you have to put your face out there. You have to share and you have to give value. So the daily consistent action, what are your numbers? What results are you having? Where are you posting on your social? What's your follow-up system? What spreadsheets are you using for this? Because when we first start, we don't have all of the systems in place. So what are those manual systems that you can track all of your numbers and all of your results? Because when you see them in front of you, you can decide that you need to tweak something or shift something, but doing all of these actions daily leads to new habits. Your habits will become automatic, but you have to choose to do them. And I know as an entrepreneur, I do it too. We get going, like we do something we're excited about, the new shiny object, the new social media, we do it, and then we stop because we get overwhelmed. So find out what are your handful of items that you need to do within your numbers, your results, in your marketing that have to be done every day so that you can build that habit, put that into place. So what are some of the pitfalls that happen when we don't have our habits in place, right? When we're not taking consistent action? Here's what happens is we have unmet expectations. I don't know about all you, but coming into entrepreneurship, you have this idea of what it's going to look like and feel like. And I'm going to have this freedom, this time freedom. I can make my own schedule. I'm going to have financial freedom. And we get into it and it's freaking hard, right? It is hard. And we start to get disappointed. It starts to lead to this negative talk of, I can't, this is hard, I'm not meant for this. In fact, I want to share a little story with you. And this is a client of mine that we had a conversation. She was a teacher for 20 years. She got burnt out. And so she decided, I'm going to become a real estate agent. That looks like fun. And real estate is doing well. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. And her husband was supportive. She didn't look into it really. It just looked like a fun thing to do that she could do and different than teaching. I'm just burnt out, so I'm going to go do this. So now here she is 3 or 4 years down the road. She's not making any money. She's not having any fun. She doesn't like it. And she's now in the place of, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what's next for me. This obviously wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Well, anytime we're in that place of stuckness, it's because there's a decision that has to be made. There is a decision that she either is going to put her heart and soul into this. She's going to get the education she needs. She's going to learn how to sell. What is it about it that is making it so hard that she can work on? Or this just isn't for me and I need to walk away from it. But when we walk away, then we're admitting that I made a mistake. But is it really a mistake, or is it, I only knew what I knew? You don't know what you don't know. It's like my favorite thing to say. She tried it. It's not working. So now a decision needs to be made, because otherwise all she's doing is torturing herself, right? So on top of all that, it's created a lot of pressure in her relationship, in her marriage. And there's a lot of arguing going on because I supported you, you didn't do it. Like, so the communication is breaking down in the connection between her and her husband, instead of having straight up conversation and realizing that maybe this just wasn't for me. But I think what happens is that we get to a place of being burnt out and then we make impulsive decisions, like me. Leave your job, sell your house, move out of state, all in 3 weeks. I don't recommend that. So the other thing is, she said, you know, I just don't understand, because there's this other woman in the office. She started at the same time I did, and she's doing so great. What's wrong with me? Her self-esteem is suffering because of just a decision, right? She made a shift. Give yourself grace, but be honest with yourself. Is this for me, or is it not for me? Do I just need to put in the work? Like Katarina said, sales. That's what it ultimately comes down to, is I'm not making any money. Because I promise, if she was making money, I think her whole outlook would be different, right? So when we don't plan for things, we don't meet our expectations, we get that negative self-talk, we stop believing in ourselves, we hit burnout, and then we quit, right? So here's the thing. Your idea matters. It really does. We all have a lot of good ideas, but there is work that needs to be done to look at that idea and decide, am I ready for it? Do I have the skills for it? Do I have the finances for it? Right? And here's the thing, we get so close to it because it means something to us. As entrepreneurs, our hearts are tied to things. We want to serve people. I mean, for most of us, that's why we get into this. We want to serve someone else. We want to make a difference, and we want to serve ourselves and our family, right? But what we need to do is poke holes in our ideas. So before we invest all of our finances and all of our time in it, and I kind of compare this to, Haley, you might appreciate this. In my old life, whenever they were applying a new patch to the system, I had a script that I needed to go through to test everything to make sure that when we did make it live and launch it, that it was ready to go. Well, I didn't test the script to make sure everything was working. I was testing the script to see if I could break it, because inevitably our ideas will find something good with it. That's why it's our idea in the first place. But what we need to do is also look at it and say, why will this not work? What is wrong with this idea? What is lacking in here? What knowledge do I need to get? Because sometimes what it means is I need to take a step back. Let me get this additional knowledge. Let me get these additional finances. I need to put some things in place. It's not that my idea is not a good one. I just need some more things to put into place before I can jump in and really apply myself, right? So, but our thoughts are, this is my idea and I want to do it, right? But here's the thing. Even if you go into something, have a plan to shift, or there might come a time that you need some more knowledge. You need to step back a second. It doesn't mean you're quitting. If you have to step back, that's okay. Step back, regroup, right? That's what prevents the quitting. And the quitting is what hurts. Failure, making mistakes, that's learning and growing. It's not being a failure yourself. And that's what happens as an entrepreneur, is that we identify with the idea. So if the idea doesn't work, the business doesn't work, or it's struggling, then we are not good. We have a problem. That is not the case at all. Separate yourself. You have two hands here. One's your idea. The other one is your value, okay? Your productivity, your results are not your value. You are not your idea. The idea is not you. So separate yourself from that. So now, take 100% responsibility for you. This applies to anybody. That's not just an entrepreneur or a business owner. That is everyone. Your personal, your professional life. If you're not happy with the results of your life, you are the only person that can change that. No one else can do it for you. So I'm the only person who can change my results. What happened in the past does not define me. So my failures, my mistakes, my thoughts, those don't define me. They develop me, right? What else, what other knowledge do I need so I can take another run at it, right? Just like we just heard prior from Lee, right? She had a huge business. She had to take a step back by no choice, but you know what? Then she chose to look at things differently and do things differently. She didn't just quit. Okay, get out of your head, regroup, get a coach, get a mentor. We're not meant to do this alone. And like I said, this is personally and professionally, because you know what? The bottom line here is that everything that we do is about connections and relationships. And together, you can make a lot of things happen. I don't know about all you, but for me, that was one of those things where I kept running into a wall because I wanted to do everything on my own. But doing everything on your own is not the way. It is not the way. So reach out for help. All right, so I am asking for your help. And because I am a habits of thinking coach, I want to understand more about the obstacles that entrepreneurs are running into, both personally and professionally. So if you know someone who's in this space, who's struggling, or that is you yourself, and you just can't seem to get over that hump, then what I'm doing is I'm doing a 30-day mastermind. It's a free mastermind where once a week we will meet and we're going to talk about one objective that you want to shift in that 30 days. What is that one thing that you want to work on? And the only thing that I ask is that you take the habits of thinking assessment, which I'll put that in the link or in the comments here, and that you show up to the sessions and that you contribute and engage and that you share your results. And that's it. So to do that, I'll put it in the chat, my book me. I think I just put that in there. Here we go. I'll put it in there. You can either email me or schedule that you can book me, which will automatically take you to the assessment, or you can click the link here on, which I don't know if that works on this. So yeah, so if you know anybody or this is you, please reach out because I would love to learn more about you and what your struggles are. So not only can I hopefully help you through some things, but then you can also help me understand as well. So now stop sharing there. Does anybody have any questions, any thoughts? I'm super excited.
Let's everybody give Kim a huge round of applause and hearts and thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, so many amazing things here.
It's been a great day. Thank you, Haley. This has been awesome. Thank you for putting it together.
Thank you.